Hello and welcome back, everyone. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and we're on to, I think, the fourth puzzle for this weekend, now that we're doing two on Saturdays and two on Sundays. So, the puzzle itself, now you may remember a few days ago, maybe even like a week or so ago, we did a puzzle by Abdul the Killer, where I made a reference to the fact that there is this combined set of rules that's almost called like magical Sudoku, where really with only like one or two digits in the grid and no other clues other than the rule set, you can actually completely solve that particular puzzle. And that's almost what we have here today. So I'm really looking forward to it, with the distinct advantage that this time, I think, to make it a little bit easier and approachable, the author and the constructor has actually given us quite a few more digits, not 2 digits, it's more like 9 digits, I believe. We're going to take a look at that in a second. Now, the title of this puzzle is Numerically in Place. And because it relies heavily on anti-knights constraints, I just couldn't get that picture out of my head where you essentially have a whole bunch of knights lining up, taking photos. It kind of tells you a lot about the various parties I've been to over the years, where you have this photo booth outside, you can take a part in your dress and whatever you're dressed on the day, and essentially you have all of these sort of crazy backgrounds that you have. So that's kind of the lineup that you have in front of you. Lots of different colors, lots of different knight suits, and yeah, a little bit comical for me. I hope that others find it funny as well and amusing as I have. But with that said, let's take a look at today's puzzle. So, as I said, Numerically in Place by JoshFrew. I think we played a puzzle from Josh before, if I'm not mistaken. And please excuse me, it's not 9 digits, it is 6 digits. We've got 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, and 9. No 4s, no 5s, no 6s. It'll be quite amusing if they're kind of like somewhere in here, given sort of the layout of the grid. But anyway, enough of that. Let's take a look at the rule sets. We have normal Sudoku rules apply. So that means the digits 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Cells within a king or knight's move, chess away from itself, cannot contain the same digit. Now that's incredibly powerful, you're going to find, as we play today's puzzle. But imagine this 2 now. So normal Sudoku, none of these would apply. King's move eliminates the following as well. Knight's move eliminates the following cells as well. So you can see just how incredible this type of reach can be. I mean, this 7 would even be better because we're taking away all of that box, all of that row, all of that column, all of these adjacent king's moves, all of these knight moves. It's just a huge amount of the grid basically ends up being unavailable for this digit. Now, even with that constraint, that's not going to be enough. The last one is the key one, which is orthogonally connected cells cannot be consecutive. So not only can I not place a 7 in any of these, I can't place an 8 in any of these either. And then when you build this up, you'll see just how you can essentially completely fill this grid. Well, I hope we can completely fill this grid. That's the mission we have for today. And if you choose to accept that mission, link will be in the description down below as per usual, for you to play along and see if you can accomplish this on your own. With that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So I'm tempted to take a digit like 2, and I'll explain. So 1, because I'm really relying on that last rule set, orthogonally connected cells cannot be consecutive. Now if I pick 1, the only orthogonally connected available digit would be the 2, and yes, it constrains it, but I think if I start with a 2 where I have both the 3 and the 1, eliminating some places in the grid, some cells, that's probably the right next step. So let's take a look at the 2. So we kind of started with that as the example. None of these would work. None of these would work. Yeah, I think that's correct. That's got to be a 2. Now, a little bit less restricted on the other side because king's move and knight's move don't quite reach as far. So in fact, all of these could be the 2 for now. Let's think about the 1s and 3s. 1 cannot be here. 1 cannot be adjacent to the 2. Can't be orthogonally connected. These could be 1. And too many of these could be 1 as well. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to be kind of already seeing this a little bit awkward and difficult after the first digit, but I'm going to persist. So 3s, obviously none of these, not with these knight moves, not with this 2, orthogonally connected, so not a 3 in here. Knight's move, none of these, can't be in there, that's a 3. Can I do better? Yeah, not enough. May have to keep going and then come back to the 2. Reason I want to come back to the 2 is I was going to say I mean, so we know the 2 is somewhere in here. Doesn't exactly eliminate anything though for us, does it? Because I can put a 2 in there. No, sorry, that's knight's move. So I can put a 2 anywhere in here, but more importantly, I think I can put a 2 in there. It says orthogonally, doesn't include diagonal, so I can easily remove these 3s, and either of these could be a 3. So it's not quite doing what I was hoping. And unfortunately, both of these 2s are available because I can easily make the 3 down there. Interesting. Let's maybe do some easier ones. 8. I'll do the freebies. Got kind of the same pattern on the bottom 3 boxes as the top 3 boxes. So we get a few obvious ones. 9, for example, can't be in here or there. It can be in there. Excuse me, that wasn't a 9, that was an 8. Let's try the 7. Yep. No 7s, no 7s, no 7s. That is the 7. Did I do the same? Yeah, I got the 3s in here. Not the 2s, not the 1s. So very similar pattern emerging. I don't know if essentially you almost like need to come at it, as in get towards the 5, and somehow that sort of unravels the puzzle. That'd be beautiful construction if that's how it was created, but yeah. Lots of places for 9s. This is not going at all as I was expecting, actually. Lots and lots of places for 9 here. I'm not going to even pencil mark this. I think the key is I need to somehow come across and bridge these, because there's just not enough pressure on the grids, on the digits that are available in here for me to complete this. So if anything, I'm actually going to forget about the 2s for a second. Not sure that's a wise idea yet, but the fact that we have, you know, these 3s and 7s really does feel like it's pointing me in that direction. Now, I'm sure I can place a 3 on this row because this 3 is eliminating all of these options, all of these options, all of these options. So the 3 is very restricted in this box. But more importantly, no 3s in here. Has to be a 3 in there. Eliminates both of these 3s, forcing the 3 to the corner. Well, to row 1 as opposed to multiple, sorry, column 1 as opposed to multiple columns in box 4. So that's quite helpful. That because of anti-king, that because of anti-knight. Now 3s are very restricted to just these 2 cells. So I imagine the 7 is going to be very similar if I pay a bit of attention. So as you can see, the 7 in here sees all of these. So 7 is already restricted to only a handful of cells in there. Now, I imagine, yeah, this 7 with Knight's move eliminates all of these as an option. All of these, we're back to the same two columns. However, it means we need to place a 7 somewhere in row 6. And it's none of these, none of these. This is anti-king. This is by Sudoku, but also anti-knight. That's the 7. Eliminating the 7s that would have been here, 7 is in there now. Now we're left with 7s in here. Now 2 7s, and same here, 2 3s, is actually more restricted than you may think, because regardless of which one is a 7, I mean, ignore the 7 for a second, regardless of which one is this, it sees all of these 3 cells, because it's either eliminating it with Sudoku or anti-king or anti-knight. And the same is true for the other way around. Now, the fact that there is 3 of them in this shape, I'm almost thinking it eliminates all of these 2. Yeah, it does. I may have to use some shading to show you this. So we've said none of these could be 7. Now I'm asserting none of these could be 7 either, because of these green cells. Now if I put a 7 in any of these, it can see these 2, as you can see with Sudoku anti-king, Sudoku anti-knight, Sudoku anti-knight. So the 7 is actually forced. We're left with 7 in only one place, because we've got, remember, these 2 that were pencil marked earlier. And we've got this one, eliminating all of these 2, eliminating all of these. That's the only place the 7 can be. Incredible. This 7 tells us this is not a 7. 7 is now restricted to here. And there, except we've placed one already. So that was never a 7. That is the 7. That's not the 7. That is the 7. That's all the 7s placed. Right. Now that I've sort of found my rhythm, this should actually move a lot more quickly. Let's see if we can do the same with the 3s. So these 2, so can't place it in here, can't place it in there. Again, either Sudoku and anti-knight or Sudoku and anti-king. This is the only place for the 3. That's not a 3. That's the 3. That's not a 3. That's the 3. Now we've eliminated all of these as an option. That's the 3. This 3 sees this one. That's the 3. And I think that's all the 3s placed as well. Yep. 4s. Look at this. So 4s have to be there. Eliminating all of these as an option. 4 has to place in here. And now 4 is in this column. None of these are 4. Neither is this one again. It kind of applies across boxes. So these 2 are 4, or the option of 4. Doesn't feel like it's enough. I'm actually gonna, I don't think corners are working for me, if I'm honest. I am gonna go with coloring. Okay. Not there, not there. I mean, I'm pretty sure I should be able to place the 4. Otherwise, I mean, we're not going to be able to solve this one. So I should be able to do this. How am I going to be able to do this? I don't think I've missed anything. There are no 4s adjacent to any 3s. Yeah, all of that's... Yeah. All the 3s have a nice exclusion zone around them. So this is really pretty much the only clue we're going to get about the 4s. Now I just need to pay attention and see what I can eliminate. I think that's the key thing. Here is a good example. So if I place this 4 in here, I eliminate all of these as an option, and forcing a double 4 in column 6. Yeah, that is column 6. So that's not a 4. I'm actually tempted to say this also doesn't work in here, does it? I eliminate all of these. That eliminates all of these. That would work. So this one actually works. This one breaks. Let's see if I can show you why. If I place a 4 in here, I think you can quickly accept all of these are eliminated. Either Sudoku, anti-king, or anti-knight. Now I'm left with having to place this 4, because I need one in column 5, and it sees both of these cells, which are the only remaining ones in box 5. So that's also not a 4. That removes a 4 from down here. 4 is now along there. I will remove this option. Both of these see this cell. So knight, anti-king, that's not a 4, that is the 4. And we've got progress. Right, what else can we deduct in there? I mean, this does make it incredibly restricted, but, if I select this, it's this and that. That's fine. Removes this as an option. These two would remove this cell as an option. This removes this, so it'll be that, and it looks fine and doable. Now, the opposite would be breaks. How am I going to show this? So, if I place a 4 in here, only place I can place it in box 3 would be there. And only place I can place it in box 8 would be here, leaving a 4 in one of these two. Now, these two both see this 2 cells. It's either Sudoku or anti-knight. This one sees this with anti-knight. There's no 4 available now in box 6. So incredibly, this is a 4. None of these are a 4. That's not a 4. That's not a 4. That's the 4. That's not a 4. Not a 4. Not a 4 either. This is the only one that works in column 7. Therefore, none of these. None of these. That's the last one. That's the... that's the last 4. So you can see sort of how you can... It takes a while, at least for me, to see these. But just by placing all of these 3s, we've actually placed all of these 4s. And you can just keep going round, I guess. I'm sure we can probably do the 1s now and 2s if I sort of just apply myself. So let's see if I can apply myself and do so. probably went a bit quick there. So 2s, where can they go in box 7? It's none of these, remember, not adjacent to the 3. We've got these 2. Now if I pick this one, it sees all of these 3 cells. So that's not the 2. That is the 2. That's no longer a 2 now. We have a 2 in here. We can continue, I'm sure. Because we're not going to get any other clues that are going to help us with a 2 necessarily. Occasionally we'll get the double, you know, it might be like 2, 8 are the only 2 options. And then you can actually eliminate some of these things and you get doubles and triplets. But broadly, you should be able to solve these without having to resort to too much pencil marking and gridding, just by paying attention. So I'll give you an example about paying attention. This cell sees both of these. These 2 see this one, because it's either anti-king or anti-knight. And this cannot be orthogonally adjacent to the 3. That's a 2. Neither of these are a 2. That's anti-knight. That's a 2. And all of these are eliminated. That's anti-orthogonally connected. That cannot be consecutive. That's a 2. Neither of these are a 2. That's a 2. We need to place a 2 somewhere in here. It is there. It is not here. And that's all the 2's done now as well. 1s, I'm sure we can give a very similar treatment now. Let's go. Not here. In fact, not these. Not this one. So that's the only 2 places. This sees both of these cells. That's not the one. That is the one. That's not the one. That's the one. Just incredible puzzle. Really makes you think, and you just wonder how on earth the constructors have actually set some of these. Now we need a 1 in in row 4. It can only be in here because we've eliminated all of these as an option. That's the only one allowed. That removes this one. That's not a 1. One of these is a 1. None of these is a 1. We need a 1 in row 7. That's this one. It sees both of these. It sees all of these 3. That's the 1. That's the 1. That's all the 1s placed. I'm going to keep going. 8s. Kind of surprised that's all we've done with the 8s. I guess, you know, we had a similar challenge with the 2s, I think. So neither of these are 8s. None of these are 8s. That's not an 8. That's the 8. That's not an 8. That's the 8. None of these are 8. This is next to the 7. That's the 8. Not 8, not 8. 8. None of these are 8. You can see Sudoku and anti-knight. That's the 8. Let's finally confirm the 8 in this. That's the only 8 available. That's all the 8's done. Yeah, 9 of them. And 9s. So we need a 9 somewhere in here. All 3, in fact, are available. I don't think, yeah, all 3 are available, in fact. So that is true, but that's not available. It sees all 3, but obviously we also need a 9 in row 7. So that's not the one. Notice neither of these could be a 9. That's the 9 because they're adjacent to an 8. That's not a 9. Eliminated all of these options as a 9. Next to an 8, that's the 9. Sees a lot of places, that's the 9. We've eliminated almost all of it now. And this with the Sudoku. 9. 9. Anti-knight. 9. Don't know how I missed this earlier. This 9 was seeing this all along. 9. Let's do 6s. And we're basically done. We'll be left with a gap for where only the 5 can go. So for my sanity, what I'm going to do is just highlight the 7s, because that just tells me where I cannot place a 6. It becomes fairly obvious at this point when you get this far in the grid. Oh, what did I miss here? 3s. I missed a 3. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. I missed a 9. Excuse me. There you go. Right, the 6s were a bit harder than I... Yeah, so we've only placed this 6. That's the 6. That's not a 6. 6. Not 6. Not 6. Not 6 down here because of this. 6, 6. And like I said, the remaining gaps are all 5s, and if I've not made any mistake, that's the solution to today's puzzle. Phenomenal puzzle. Yeah, I guess what can I say about kind of this Miracles Sudoku rule sets? It's just phenomenal once you see it and apply it. I personally can't solve these without having to use a bit of shading to be able to spot what are some of the shades that you need to eliminate that basically would break the puzzle. But usually what I find is after I've placed enough digits, either my brain wiring changes enough that I can actually spot them without having to do coloring systematically, or you filled so much of the grid that it actually becomes almost impossible for us to place certain digits without, you wouldn't, like the 6 is an excellent example. Once you highlight all the 7s, the 6 just falls into place very quickly. Well, JoshFrew, another incredible puzzle. I will probably go back and refresh my mind about... I'm absolutely certain we featured another puzzle from you. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and see you back for the next one. Bye for now.